So as you can see, Jessica Dila Davies runs a YouTube channel. Uh, let's do her about page. Welcome to Reporter Room with investigative journalist. I'm about to Google that real quick. Jessica Dila Davies. I think she meant I am legacy verified. Am legacy verified on Twitter, verified on Facebook, and verified on Spoutable. Which I did Google what Spoutable is. It's a version of Twitter, right? Let me double check. I got it right here. Yeah, what is Spoutable? Spoutable is a social media platform that launched in February 2023 and is considered a Twitter alternative. So that's what Spoutable is. Reporter Room was featured in the New York Post, selected by FeedSpot panelists as one of the top true crime YouTube channels on the web, and was featured in meaww.com. Mission: bring you interesting videos with analysis of crimes, crime scenes, and suspects, and teach you to do the same. I'm covering financial scams, Ponzi schemes, mysteries, missing persons, conspiracies, and celebrity crimes. You're invited to join Reporter Room as a valued channel member of our kind Reporter Room family. A bit about myself. This is what I care about. I'm a trusted member of the Society of Professional Journalism. I reside in the U.S. with my family and our cat Cuddles. I've been covering news stories for over a decade. Are you a true crime lover who enjoys thrillers and mysteries? Clearly, here's her channel. Okay, so you see her picture. Kind of looks like a news lady. She got kind of. But when you dig into her resume, that's not quite what you find. So I've been able to uncover, let's start with, like I said, the LinkedIn account associated with her. It's no longer there. I don't know if she took it down because I was looking for a resume. I was looking for where she was an investigative journalist. That's something, right? So I can't find anything. So let me pull up her Twitter. And of course, these are self-written things. So anybody can write whatever they want about themselves. All right. Member of Society of Professional Journalists. Producer of The Nutcracker at PBS. Member of Muckrack and Muckrack. Says enabling organizations to build relationships with the media, manage crisis risk, and demonstrate PR's impact on business outcomes. I didn't spend too much time looking at that. And then she's self-promoting for her YouTube channel. Now, she says she's media and news company, USA, quote, joined September 2009. She does have a verified account on Twitter. All right, now I found this little, or it's not little. Let me show you this page. Society of Professional Journalists. So the kind of says what they are right here. My bad, I did not have that on the right page. Learn more. The Society of Professional Journalists is the nation's most broad-based journalism organization dedicated to encouraging the free practice of journalism and stimulating high standards of ethical behavior. Founded in 1909 as Sigma Delta Chi, SPJ promotes the free flow of information vital to a well-informed citizenry through the daily work of its roughly 6,000 members, works to inspire and educate current and future journalists through professional development, and protects First Amendment guarantees of freedom of speech and press through its advocacy efforts. Now, you want to click this join button right here? All you have to do is pay, okay? Join online in minutes today as a professional, student, postgraduate, retired, lifetime, or household member. Join SPJ as a supporter for only $21 a year. Does not include benefits or additional membership perks. Join by mail. Membership expired. Renew in minutes today. So this is, to me, this is false advertising. Even though she's honest, she says she's a member. No, I did not go look through the pictures to figure out. But all you have to do, membership rates right here. See our rates. So if you pay this money, Professional, 78.75. Retired, lifetime, $1,000. Does not include local chapter. Okay, so you got to pay one time $1,000 and then pay your local household, post-grad, college student, associate. So right here, are you a high school student with an interest in journalism, potentially as a career path? So I was looking for education-wise. Didn't see that, but like I said, the LinkedIn account associated, it does not exist anymore. So let's check out our Instagram. I host Reporter Room on YouTube and am a trusted journalist. What does that even mean, right? What does it mean to be a trusted journalist? Just because you say you belong to the SPJ, the Society of Professional Journalists, just because you're verified on Twitter, isn't there a cat? Isn't there a cat account that's verified on Twitter? Spoutable, Instagram, Facebook. Dogs have their own verified accounts. So, but I'm picking at, if you're going to say you're a trusted journalist, where? Where? Now, this looks to be self-written. Again, my blog. She says she's an author here. New York City, Sag Harbor. I don't write in the third person as I believe it's an exercise in ego masturbation. It's not that I have anything against ego masturbation. It's just that I have a headache and I'm not in the mood today. I am the author of the saucy book, Slippery When Wet. I know the title is cheeky, and in my humble opinion, okay, I'm not that humble, art should provoke a reaction. Love it or hate it, it makes no difference as long as it provokes. Here is really all you need to know about me. I'm an author, writer, art reviewer, and my hobby is lint. Get slippery when wet. And she's got a link for her book. But right here, I'm an author, writer, art reviewer. I don't know why she left out Miss Arizona. This is just hobbies and whatnot. So right here is her Amazon page. As you can see, this is her. And right here, again, it matches. Who's Jessica LaDavies? Anyone? Anyone? First, I don't believe in writing in the third person as it feels like it. So now you can see. This is self-written, self-promotion. All right. With a pen in one hand and a dish rag in the other, I've spent my life. Okay. So right here you see this. We've already read that, the ego masturbation part. With a pen in one hand and a dish rag in my life writing for a variety of publications, including a humorous monthly column for the Artful Mind. My articles have appeared in the Berkshire Beacon, the Woman's Times, Yoga Fit magazine, Pride of Pageantry magazine, Epic, and more. In 2003, I was named the All-American Outstanding Woman of Achievement. I was the reigning Miss USA 2004 and Mrs. Arizona 2003. I wrote Slippery When Wet, a cheeky title for a saucy book for today's every woman. My hobby is lint. So you can see this is her. Here's her book. Okay. It looks like she wrote 2 books actually. Guess I don't see the other one here. But let me find where I read that. So here's her Pinterest, YouTube channel, Member Society of Professional Journalism, All-American Outstanding Woman of Achievement, 2 times producer. Do you see how it keeps growing? Now, I did not fact check her Nutcracker producer or 2 times, but she already had her YouTube channel in there. Clearly, she keeps sharing all her new videos. So why didn't she update each one? I don't know. Host of Reporter Room on YouTube and Reporter Room YouTube on TikTok. Here's our Pinterest. All right. And I don't exactly know what this is. Demcast, grassroots media by the people for the people. I think it's just somewhere you could post. But here it says Jessica Dela Davies is a member of Society of Professional Journalists. Again, all you have to do is pay. Producer, and this only says one time, The Nutcracker on PBS. Twice published author. And serves as special ambassador for the American Diabetes Society. And then we got her Facebook. Here is her, looks Miss something. She's dressed in her pageant gear. Okay. Hosts Reporter Room on YouTube. Davies Writer on Twitter. There you go. So as you can see, I'm sorry, but we are about to break down her video, and she's got a live scheduled for the following day. I also just give my opinion on YouTube, but I don't claim to be things that I'm not. And when you hear this video, and also I'm going to share a private, it's not private, it's all over the web. It already got brought out by some asshole that I pissed off because I talk shit like, number one, I should be the president of the Dirty Dozen. Well, because I hurt somebody's feelings, it was already brought to YouTube, so I don't really care in sharing it. But I'm going to shred her expert analysis that she claims to have. It's one thing to give your opinion, but it's a whole nother thing to build a profile that says you're an investigative journalist where I can't find anything. Or that you're this. Do you know how easy it is to publish a book? It's not hard. So that's what we're going to show today. I would not pay attention to her expert analysis because, to me, it's flat. There's no schooling. If you're going to say, I have just her YouTube channel, we'll go back to that. Right here. With investigative journalist Jessica Dela Davies. Ma'am, where? Just because you're legacy verified on Twitter, I know that cat is verified. Verified on Facebook, verified on Spoutable. Reporter Room was featured in the New York Post, selected by FeedSpot panelists as one of the top true crime YouTube channels on the web, and was featured in meaww.com. Where did you do your investigative journalist at? That's what I want to know. Mission: bring you interesting videos with analysis of crimes, crime scenes, and suspects. But ma'am, if you're just giving your opinion on crimes, crime scenes, and suspects, but your opinion is not founded in any kind of education, any kind of investigative journalist school, any kind of work as an investigative journalist, get my point? You are just as flat as everyone else. So stop pretending to be something that you're not.
So I'm about to show you how she opens every video about Sebastian, looks to be. Just watch.
You wake up every day angry.
Sebastian, he is
Like to say to whoever has my children that they please. We just hope that he
functioning autistic.
happy and alive.
Wherever you are, just know that we are not going to stop.
Okay, like I said, this is how she starts every episode when it has to do with Sebastian. Now, I'm going to feature 2 different episodes she uses. I'm going to put what she says happened and what happened. And you'll start to see how swayed her opinion is and how it comes out in her work, for one. For 2, her intro puts Katie Proudfoot between 2 baby killers, okay? Well, the Quentin Simon's mom, which I refuse to use her name, and the other mom, I also refuse to use her name. Quentin Simon's mom, in all honesty, is unfortunately pleading not guilty, the last I knew, trying to get her confession thrown out. So she has not been charged with the crime, but I do believe justice will prevail, although it has not happened yet. So she's playing the legal system at the moment. But just her intro alone, let's look at Katie's demeanor between, okay? Forcing tears, straight face. Now, this reporter, or this news interview that she's showcasing was roughly a month and a half after she'd been all over, I believe, her first, and I do have that, her first news on camera news interview was March 5th, where her demeanor was completely different than this particular one, which was about a month and a half after being interviewed. Now, this news interview was while they were still searching, but before the landfill search began, I believe. I really have to go back and double check my work. But I did watch the Quentin Simon situation go down. Look at the forced tears. And then the other one, again, I refuse to use her name. There you go. Forcing the tears. Forcing the pleas for help. So, how does this look familiar? It's 3 different faces, 3 completely different faces. And again on Katie. Okay? So, in my opinion, she killed her entire thought process just in that 30-second clip alone.
This is Reporter Room with Jessica Della Davies.
Hello, Reporter Room investigators. My name is Jessica Della Davies. I'm an investigative journalist. My job is to investigate crime scenes, potential suspects, and evidence, and show you how to do the same thing. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and smash the like button. Everything I'm sharing is my opinion. Let's get started. Are you watching closely? So I did watch the Dave Pascal interview with Seth Rogers, Tony Mathias, and we didn't learn what we thought we were going to learn, but we did learn some very interesting information. The interview was ginned up to the public that Seth was going to reveal the CPS records by Tony and Seth. Therefore, I think a lot of people were disappointed not to see these or at least hear more about them. But Seth was not able to release them because he tells us that it's against the law to release these records. I did some digging, and Seth's right. Are you watching closely? First of all, we learned that CPS has additional reports and that these reports had absolutely nothing to do with the Chris Proudfoot belt incident, where Chris Proudfoot claims he did it because Sebastian was lying. I don't believe him. Do these reports have anything to do with Katie Proudfoot, or do they have something to do with Chris Proudfoot? We don't know yet, but it sounds like something has gone above and beyond the pale in the Proudfoot home, and that this CPS incident or incidents need to be taken seriously. We also learned that the Sumner County Sheriff's Office was offered the reports by Seth. He let them know that he had them. However, Seth stated that the Sumner County Sheriff's Office told him they had the report, that they'd had these reports for months. Seth expanded a little bit on the report, stating that it opened up his eyes to what was going on in the Proudfoot home. Now, this is not an exact quote. This is basically a synopsis of what he said.
Some things were brought to your attention recently that really shocked you, Seth, that really kind of shook you. What is that?
Everybody already knows what you're talking about, Pascal. other creators have been on it. Tony mentioned it last night in TikTok. Yeah, I have the DCS records for that house.
DCS records for that house. Okay, can you explain to me, because I know it's the Department of Children's Services, correct? So it's basically CPS, but Tennessee's version of CPS, correct?
Correct.
So what exactly did you learn? What was shed? What light was shed on you?
No, my eyes are open to a lot of things, and no, I can't share it with you. First of all, DCS reached out to my attorney, and because social media gets around, they reached out to my attorney. My attorney reached out to me, and I told them I had no plans of releasing any of this stuff at all. But I know it. I know what happened. I know the reports that were going on. I have a lot more understanding of what was happening in that house now.
Okay, so you are not going to release the information?
No.
Why not? The reason why I asked this, Seth, is because it could give more insight on why your son may have ran away, why your son may have disappeared. I mean, if it's not to the public, have you at least given it to law enforcement?
Oh,
ran away, why your son may have disappeared. I mean, if it's not to the public, have you at least given it to law enforcement?
Oh, Sumner County has had it from the get-go.
Yeah, they've got it.
You know, I've been in contact with TBI. TBI didn't have it, and I advised TBI to turn around and request the unredacted records, because I got the redacted ones, and I told them that they need to request the unredacted records and they need to look at it.
Okay, that's something I didn't know that they had it. Tony, can you expand on that? Oh, go ahead, Seth.
Tony hasn't seen the records. I haven't shared them with anybody but my attorney.
Put out the recording of Chris Proudfoot using the C word, the B word, but hearing the recording, I just thought it was too triggering. I didn't want to share it, but in hearing the recording, I just wanted to give you my take on it. I think that it's disturbing. I think that Chris Proudfoot is disturbing. I came into this thinking that Chris Proudfoot probably didn't have a lot to do with this. I mean, we've heard from Chloe, the PI hired by Seth, that he had an alibi at 5:15 a.m. But in hearing how he talks, I feel like Chris Proudfoot is a bully. I believe he is a coward. This is my opinion. And this, after hearing this recorded phone call that was accidentally leaked, and I'm not playing it, after hearing this call, I believe that he was spraying Sebastian. I believe the neighbors. This gives more credibility to the neighbors saying that they heard him, Chris Proudfoot, calling Sebastian the R word. I wasn't sure before this, but after hearing this recorded phone conversation, I'm absolutely convinced that this did happen. The most ironic thing about Chris Proudfoot is that he seems to be under the delusion that law enforcement's going to come in and work on behalf of him toward content creators that he doesn't like. I don't think so. Law enforcement does not work for Chris Proudfoot. This is more delusions of grandeur and entitled nonsense that you see in typical narcissistic people. And I'm not diagnosing Chris as a narcissist. I'm using narcissist as an adjective. The way that he talks about other human beings and the name calling that he does is evil. It's beyond gaslighting. It's beyond manipulation. The way he talked about Trish on Web Sleuths Live was despicable. So I don't know if he had anything to do with what happened to Sebastian, but I can certainly see why Sebastian would not have felt safe living in that house with Chris Proudfoot. Do you think Sebastian ran away? Do you think something more nefarious happened to Sebastian? Is there a reason that Sebastian had the best day ever with Katie, visiting with family, eating a colossal popcorn, getting to have his favorite foods? Was he just overstimulated? Or was there something nefarious being planned. What do you think?
Let's re-talk about her mission. Her mission is to bring you interesting videos with analysis of crimes, crime scenes, and suspects. Where was any of that? Okay. First of all, again, I talked about her LinkedIn was gone. Therefore, I could not find if she had any kind of education. Not that it matters, but when you're portraying yourself to be an investigative journalist, it matters to me. Because you're lending your professional credibility to an audience. I can't remember which one it was in, where she said, I am a trusted reporter. You're lending that credible reputation to your audience. Therefore, they will take your opinion as fact because they will believe that your opinion has a foundation. But as I've demonstrated through this, your opinion has no foundation. So what is the difference between a reporter and an investigative journalist? While investigative journalists do prize integrity and purity of information, they may also spend more time on a single piece than most reporters. Research can sometimes necessitate travel, use of archival material, and working with individual human sources on their time. Investigative journalism is a form of journalism in which reporters deeply investigate a single topic of interest, such as serious crimes, racial injustice, political corruption, or corporate wrongdoing. An investigative journalist may spend months or years researching and preparing a report. So let's talk about her investigative journalism. You just heard that she believed the fighter pilot neighbor. Okay, I proved on my live the fighter pilot neighbor, which she claims to have, right here. Prize integrity and purity of information. Maybe she should have Googled what's the difference. The purity of information. Let's use the fighter pilot's own words. I didn't see any of this. I heard from another source, which they would not name. Boom. Throws out the eyewitness account right there. So I want to see your proof, ma'am. I want to see your sources. If you're a reporter, I learned this in school, pretty sure in like the 4th grade, 3 sources, right? Where are they? Now I'm going to share with you something that was brought to the internet. Oh, something to get back at me, which I don't care. Whatever. This is me on the news when my brother was missing before we found him dead. This is me and my mom. Now, I'm crying. Like, legit as fuck. Some people don't. You'll see my mom, who was not guilty of my brother's death, not crying. And I am not an investigative journalist.
Everything they can, they can't give us answers. And then not knowing is killing us.
A Salina man missing for more than a week in the Oregon wilderness. Now his family is heading there to help search. Jeffrey Vance disappeared in the Umpqua Forest the first weekend in February. Rescuers in Oregon say winter weather has stopped their search several times.
Rachel Skida spoke to Vance's family about how they're trying to stay positive. That story's new.
We're here and clueless. And that's the worst feeling for a family.
Waiting and hoping. That's all Jeffrey Vance's family can do more than a week since his disappearance.
You see how the face was very similar to Katie's, right?
He's a tough guy, he's rugged, but he has a huge heart.
Jeff's mom, Angela, says he moved from Salina to Oregon a few months ago to be with his wife.
He left and went back out there for a higher paying job. He has 3 beautiful children.
According to Oregon law enforcement, Jeff disappeared Sunday, February 3rd. They say he was traveling with a friend in the Umpqua National Forest. They ran into car trouble and left their vehicle. Jeff's friend made it to a nearby town, but search and rescue crews haven't found any sign of Jeff.
You're high one moment because you want to keep going, you want to be happy, you want to say, you know what, Jeff, we're coming. And the next moment, it's just a pitfall of emptiness because you don't know where he is. You don't know how to get to him.
Snowy conditions in the Pacific Northwest.
So, some people cry, some people don't. As you can see, neither of us were guilty. 2 completely different range of emotions. And I'm going to tell you right now, for my mother, although I know she died that day, I watched her die in front of my eyes, she still remained strong for me, for my youngest brother. That's what moms do. So, this is common sense to me. And again, even behavioral science, even expert analysis, even it's so fucking subjective. Polygraph examiners, none of it is admissible in court because it's subjective. But when you're lending your professional title to your YouTube channel, you should have the credentials to back it up. In 2 minutes, I debunked your entire intro. And I'm a no one on the internet. Now, this is how I want to end this. This is Cat Turd, everybody. Cat Turd TN. Also, a verified account on Twitter, which she has in her intro. So, isn't it manipulation and gaslighting? I'm an investigative journalist. Even though I'm only going to give my opinion, which is based in nothing, as I've proven, demonstrated, by showing you what happened, exactly what happened, and then another example of her opinion based in no educational background. Then I showed you a news interview where both people were innocent. Okay? So, bullying. She called Chris a bully. But yet, isn't it bullying in her intro of every Sebastian video that she puts Katie between 2 baby killers? Right? That's manipulation. That's manipulating her audience that Katie is indeed guilty.